Hello everybody, good morning, a very warm welcome back to the channel. Now, thank you firstly for joining me on today's tour, which comes to you from just outside Faversham in Kent. Now, what you can see behind me, over the other side of that mill pond there, is a Grade 2 listed local landmark building. It's a 6,000 square foot Georgian water mill called Tonge Mill, and we're going to walk around and tour the whole thing, and what a thing. There's so much to love about this place. It sounds like a cliche, but there's something for everybody here. If you're looking for something or a family home that offers big family accommodation, you've got up to 6 bedrooms, you've got 4 reception rooms and up to 5 bathrooms, you've got investment income, there's potential to use some of the areas for a business or a workshop, there's an artist studio, it's got parking, it's got stunning views, it's a beautiful historic home. It's also got a warehouse style industrial interiors, which I love. It's all divided up into 4 manageable sections, but above all, it's unique. And I've had the pleasure of looking after this property in the past. I actually sold this building to the current owners a few years ago. Now, there's a huge amount of history to this place, which we'll get onto as we're wandering around, but I'll try and set the scene a little bit. Now, the current owners have been here for a while and they've decided that a 6,000 square foot home is a bit excessive for 2 people, so they're downsizing. Prior to their ownership, the building was owned and refurbished by a couple called Elvis and Cressy, who are something of a local success story in this area. They outgrew Tonge Mill a few years ago as their business flourished, and this was their home, workshop, HQ and distribution for a range of sustainable luggage and accessories. They're made from old London Fire Brigade hoses along with other materials that would have otherwise gone to landfill. They donate a large portion of their profits to the London Fire Brigade, and their story is fascinating. It's all about sustainability. I'll leave a link to their website below and you can read more. Anyway, back to the history. Prior to Elvis and Cressy, Tonge Mill had been under the ownership of a local family since 1879. Much of that time it was a flour mill and a bakery serving the local region, but among other things it's been a furniture workshop, a brewery, craft centre, even a Lido and a boat hire venue. Okay, so on the practicals, the price is £1.5 million on this property. As usual, it will be going exclusively on my YouTube channel, my Instagram feed and the website in time, but it won't be hitting the portals for a while. This is going to be something that will be very low key, like many of the other places I've dealt with. So that's all done, that's all out to one side. Let's go and have a walk around. Right, let's kick off outside the area where I just shot the intro video. That's Tonge Mill in all its glory. Big building, gorgeous looking building, I hope you agree. Georgian, Grade 2 listed, and that's the mill pond. And I'm starting out here as well for a couple of reasons. The land I'm standing in, walking through now, the pond itself, and this orchard, which is just over here. It's an ancient orchard actually, with some very old apple breeds, is that the right word? But there's some very old apples, historic, which is on this very historic site here. None of this is actually owned by the mill, so therefore the costs associated with looking after this land don't apply. So you get the advantage of being able to use it, you get the benefit of it, but you don't have to contribute towards the cost, which I think is a good thing. This apparently is fed. It's a natural spring-fed stream, which I can't actually find out the source of it. It's buried deep in the undergrowth around the corner, but it's called the Thomas a Becket stream. Apparently it's quite historic. It's where apparently there used to be leper colonies here, and there was a watercress field they used to grow the cress to try and help the sick. There's also the site, apparently over the back there was a castle here back in the 1100s, according to my historic chat with one of the owners. That's interesting. And whilst we're outside again, we'll talk about, while we walk back to the front of the house, we'll talk about the wider stuff to do. It's a really great part of Kent to be. Now, whilst it does feel quite isolated, you're actually very close to civilization here. We've got some great stations. We've got 3 stations locally. Tenham, which is the closest one, there's a couple of minutes in the car. You've got Faversham station and Sittingbourne. Now, Sittingbourne and Faversham have the high speed link. They're about the sort of equidistant in terms of the proximity to Tonge Mill here, so you can get into St Pancras there very easily. and Tenham services lines to Victoria, but you can also go the other way and further into along the Thanet coastline, so you get to places like Whitstable, Margate, Broadstairs. You can also get to Canterbury very easily here, so there's loads to do, lots of historic places to go and enjoy and visit and spend weekends. And Faversham, I think, as some of you may have noted from previous videos, is one of my favourite towns in the country, if not my favourite town. There's loads to do there. Loads of practical things, you know, so you've got large supermarkets, you've got a big Tesco's there, you're very close to the M2, so you can drive to London really very straightforward. Lots of pubs, some great pubs along there. There's a lovely wine bar called Vino, and you've got the site for the Shepherd's Neame Brewery, which is the oldest brewery in the country, and they still look after many of the local pubs in the middle of Faversham. You've also got a big farm shop, a very well known, very old family-run farm shop called McNade's, and that's just up the road as well. That's got lots of artisan produce, lots of locally sourced fruit, veg, that sort of thing. And that's the front-ish of Tonge Mill. Now we've got the parking here, so it's a very big, sprawling building. So that's the car park. You could probably get 4, maybe even 5 small cars in there at a push. And as we make our way around the front of the building, I should point out that the owners are having some improvement works done, and that scaffolding there is for no other reason than to give access, because they are adding a skylight into one of the bedrooms. So I'll point that out as we are walking through. But here we go. This is the front of the building. Lots of typical Georgian industrial architecture, that lovely big arched window. And then walking around here, we've got one of the 4 sections that I mentioned in the intro. So it is divided into 4. You've got the cottage here, which is a 2-bedroom. That's a 2-bedroom cottage that the current owners use as an investment. They rent it out, and that generates around about £1,200 per month income, which is nice to know. And this chimney here, this was actually added in 1836. The building's older, but this was added when the mill was transferred, or converted, I should say, from water to steam. So that was servicing the engine room. So I think this little cottage here was also part and parcel of the engine room, which powered the steam motors. That door there, which we'll head into in a short while, is the artist's cottage. That door there services the main house. That's the main house there. And we'll access they use the back entrance for the main entrance actually, and it's a much more tranquil part of the house to access from. And then this section here is the workshop, and this is a really lovely addition, which I think many of you who are perhaps thinking about either starting, building, or maintaining or transferring a business to have a separate workshop studio to have at home, well, I think will be very intrigued. So starting off the inside, we are going to head into Tonge Mill Cottage. Right, welcome to the cottage. And once you're in through the front door, you're immediately met with this really big, solid metal staircase with wooden treads. And the industrial styling starts everywhere, whether it's original or bits that have been added, but that original beam there, whitewashed brickwork, which I think that would have been the outside outside wall of the mill at one point. There's a little guest loo here. And then some nice floorboards actually in this entrance. Lovely coloured, stripped boards. The wooden flooring in here is not original, but it looks the part. And this is a big room. Now, very nicely, minimally styled, but has got that warehousey industrial feel to it. And it's a nice shaped room, lots of different angles. Big kitchen over there, lovely wood burner there. Got a lot of time for a wood burner. And whilst this is rented independently on an AST, just as an investment for the owners, because they don't need it, if you were thinking about taking this property on as a family, I speak as somebody who's got older kids and obviously older parents, I would I'm sure my 24-year-old would be quite happy living here on her own, being next door to mum and dad. And equally, parents would, I think, would relish the chance to have this whole setup as a multi-generational living place. It works really, really well. Wooden countertops. This is a big kitchen, electric hob, electric oven, breakfast bar over there, and more workspace, plumbing for the washing machine, and space for the fridge and freezer. It's gas central heating in this building, in this particular cottage. Nice colours, really like the colours in here. And then we'll head upstairs. And from here, I've been in this cottage before, it's a lovely view everywhere, front and back in the whole of Tonge Mill. The views are exceptional. Right, so a nice, delicate, neutral colour scheme on the first floor. Cream painted floorboards everywhere. There's double glazing. You've got the original Crittall windows here, but they're secondary glazed. This is the main bedroom. If I just, that's the view from the back of the bedroom here. Again, nice sized double bedroom. You've got loft storage above. And the minimal neutral colours follow everywhere. Now this bathroom services both the bedrooms. It's what we would call a Jack and Jill affair. So you've got the loo downstairs separately for the guests, but then equally you've got these. Oh, I'm not going to go there. Let me go around the other side. But you can get to. Oh. Right, sorry. I'm going to go around the other side. There was something in the way of the door. Another double bedroom in here. Ah, that's why. Hanging storage covering that door. But a nice sized bedroom, very bright, double aspect, window facing down the road there, and one just overlooking the street. And now we're going to head to the artist studio. Now, one final point I really do need to make you aware of, which is a good thing, is this parking space. Now, the owners added this block paved driveway in, and you have got not just that, you've got direct access to your own private garden from this cottage. So you walk through this gate here, and then this grassed area up to that fence over there is the extent of the grounds. But it's a lovely garden, very bright. That's the rest of Tonge Mill, and that's the view from the lawn. And if you really wanted to, I guess you could put direct access in. You'd need to get the relevant planning consents, but that window over there, just behind that bush, that's the window from the kitchen. So I know the owners did talk about potentially adding a door there with direct access, but it's no real chore to go through the front door and through that gate out to your own private garden. Okay, the artist studio, and apologies for the scaffolding and the debris that's hanging around outside. It's not here, it's just only a temporary thing whilst the works are completed on the roof of the bit next door where they're installing the skylight. And here we are. This is what's affectionately known as the artist studio, and I think it's easy to see why. Massive volume in here, huge ceiling heights. You've got this great Georgian arched window with shutters that I'm not entirely sure are original to the building, but they are certainly reclaimed if they're not. And then you've got the view from the window out to the pond. And well, there we go, that's the room. Let me know what you think you'd do with this. I think if it was me personally, I would be inclined to use this as a studio. It's a great space, it's a real thinking space. It's somewhere you can really tuck yourself away from reality, but equally a bit of investment. You could turn this into a studio Airbnb rental would work very, very well. It would be easy to do. That corner over there, you just tap into the plumbing with next door and add a little kitchenette and maybe a small shower ensuite and a loo, but a very simple job, and it would look great. Got the original tiles on half the floor across here, and I think it's just scrubbed up. It would look $1 million. Right, let's press on. Right, I'm back in the car park and I just want to show you this quickly. This is the side of the workshop. Now, the reason I'm showing this is because if you are the sort of person that is potentially interested in buying this to run a business from as well as live in the main house, this is great. Easily for logistics, if you've got something that requires deliveries or vans that need to be loaded, you can get a van pulled up to this gate very easily and loaded, not a problem, and they'll be on their way. And you can just see in that wood there the old remnants of the Elvis and Cressy logo, but I think that's worth noting because it's a great workshop for somebody who is going to potentially live and work from home. Now, I'm going to take you around through the back door to the workshop in a second, but it's been a very long, sorry about that slamming there, it's been a very long day for me, and it started here this morning first thing. It then resulted in me going off and having to do some viewings because I didn't have enough time to get finished all my filming this morning, but it's meant I've come back in the afternoon, and the reason I mention that is because you now get to see the back of Tonge Mill in all its glory. This is such a sunny aspect. This is like this all evening now, and you can see now why the owners are massively into growing their own. And I've had the pleasure of seeing what's come out of this garden. I've stayed in contact with the owners for many years now, and I've had the pleasure of seeing what's come out of these gardens, the fruit and veg and the herbs, etc., that come out of it, and it's fantastic. I don't know whether it's something to do with the water level, keeping the ground moist or not, I don't know, but it works. You've got this pergola here that covers up the little utility area. There's a barbecue area over there. That gravel area is a pathway that leads up to the back door of the main house, which we'll go and have a poke around shortly. And this for now is the workshop. Right, back door of the entrance door to this big open plan workshop. Terracotta floor tiles pretty much everywhere, solid concrete underneath. It's a really usable, practical space. It has been commercial space. It has been used for commercial space over the years. It was a pine furniture workshop before Elvis and Cressy took it on. This was their Nerve Centre HQ. I've got photographs of what this looked like before the owners took it on and it was emptied out of all of their stuff. But it's now just purely storage and workshop for the owners. It's not now rated as a commercial space. It's been taken off. It's been delisted at the council. You could reinstate it if you really wanted to, but they just elect to use it as their own personal space. Great ceiling height in here, big windows. I'd say ceiling heights in here must be 18 feet, and it drops down to about 7 in this room. And you've got that really nice solid steel girder there. There's 3-phase power in this workshop as well, so if you are thinking of running a business that requires that level of electricity supply, it's already there waiting to go. Those doors are the doors, or the double doors there, that open out into the car park for easy loading and unloading. More storage here, and then more storage here, and then up these stairs. Got a big bright room with white painted floorboards. Sun very conveniently shimmering on the roof from the mill pond outside. It's used as a craft room for the owners. That is a London Fire Brigade hose tiled wall. I know this because that bag is my laptop bag, which I purchased from Elvis and Cressy when I completed the sale of Tonge Mill a few years ago. That door overlooks the road outside the front of Tonge Mill. There you go. Storage room next door here, nicely racked, practical, usable space, really handy. And then this was originally a staff kitchenette. And this door is the staff loo. Now, the reason I say this is because through that wall there is the adjoining main bedroom in the main house. So if you wanted to, you could, with planning permission of course, explore options of knocking through and converting this into more usable residential space if you need it. Or you might not. You might want to keep this whole place just as a completely separate workshop and office. You let me know what you think below. Now, I speak as somebody who lives in southeast London, but I love the city, I love London, but I don't think I could ever not be seduced by having this as your backdrop. Living in a building like this with an outlook like that is absolutely glorious. And this door here is the door used for access primarily. This opens into a library reception room, which, if you can just hear the water running underneath the mill, just through that arched area. I don't think that was a fireplace. I think this originally, this room would have been the mill room, and where you've got these big, heavy, thick set industrial beams, and that clamp there would have been part of the mechanism which would have held the shaft, and the millstones would have been in here. And I think, as I was just discussing with the owners, another arm would have gone through that hole in the wall there. This is where this would have been the hub of the mill, where all the action happened, all the grinding was going on. And you've got that library area over there, and everything you see now, they've got this lovely, really nice industrial styling everywhere. From the moment you walk in and to the moment we reach the top floor, it is just this glorious industrial look. Now, this door opens neatly into a storage room, always good for bags, coats, boots, that sort of thing, and brollies. And through that door we're going to look at the sluice room. It's a bit noisy in here, so hopefully you'll be able to hear what I'm saying, but this is the sluice room. The mill pond, which has been here since the Middle Ages, doesn't flood. There is an automatic mechanism in here. That box on the wall houses an electronic mechanism which runs down here, and the sluice is under this hatch here. And underneath here there is an automatic sensor. If the pond rises by a fraction, it immediately will automatically rise up and it will allow more water to run through. And if you take a look through this window here, if you can just make out the stream continues just down past to the right of that house, and then that empties out and just continues out to the swale. So really straightforward to own, and a room like this always doubles up nicely as a wine cellar. Okay. Back into the reception room, and I'm going to turn left. So this is the bottom of the stairwell that services the rest of the house. That's the front door for the house. Nice stripped wooden floorboards everywhere. This is a ground floor guest room known affectionately as Monk's Room. It's a double bedroom, lots of sandblasted brickwork, good ceiling height, very country vibe in here. And those two doors, one is just a storage cupboard for tea, coffee facilities when they have guests, and that door on the left is the airing cupboard. I don't really need to show you an airing cupboard. And then just to the left here there is a big bathroom. You've got the wash hand basin here. It's nice wooden flooring again. Utility space, so you've got your tumble dryer and washing machine in this cupboard. And then through here, bathroom, tiled wall, more wood on the floor and panelling on the bath, more sandblasted brick, and another glorious view. And the space flows, as you can see, because we're now back in the ground floor reception room. Okay, let's go and head upstairs one level. So this is where most of the bedrooms are, apart from this room here, which is family bathroom. Another big room, lots more. I love this. They've sealed off and they've sanded back what would have been years worth of layers of paint. It looks really nice patina to it. More on that wall there. And then the bath, which is housed there with the big open overhead watering can style shower head and these lovely black tiles. Okay. Reception landing space, which is big. More painted brickwork. Now this room is the room that I mentioned earlier in the video where the roof works are being carried out. This is a really nice vaulted voluminous room, and up there in the ceiling is where a skylight will be installed, giving much more natural light. It's taken a while, I think, for the grade 2 planning permission to go through, and it was something the owners are committed to, so it's worth doing, so somebody will get the benefit of that. Nice arched Georgian window down here, and then just another view looking back. But this room's been used for home studio space, for yoga, for writing, for a gym. And also it's worth bearing in mind, I mean, all the floors throughout this whole building, bearing in mind the industrial nature of what this building was originally constructed for, it should hold some hugely heavy things if required, so gym equipment would be a doddle. Another bedroom, and more of that industrial heritage in the ceiling. View to the back. Nice double bedroom this. Painted floorboards pretty much everywhere on this level, and this is the main bedroom. Really lovely room. Timber ceiling beams again. There's a really nice rustic feel about the whole place. It just works with the age of the building and the style of the decor. Full ensuite bathroom in here. More of that painted brickwork and more of those lovely views. Now, in the workshop space that I was in earlier, when I mentioned about potentially, if you wish, knocking through, this is the wall. So if you wanted to knock through here with the planning permission, of course, you could easily incorporate more residential space into the main house. And those doors, just another signature of the old owners' sustainable ethos. They're just old reclaimed front doors and lobby doors that have been added on to create a wardrobe. They're really good. And then last but not least, we'll head upstairs to the show-stopping reception space. Right, this is the main reception in the main house, and it's kind of hard to know where to start really. The wow factor is off the charts in here. It is a spectacular room, full of volume, full of light, full of industrial styling. You've got the apex there. It must be 25 feet in this room. But whilst it's a big room, I know that that roof is I think it's a double-lined or double-skinned roof. The previous owners were very eco-conscious and wanted this room to be as efficient as possible, so that does its job very well, especially when you couple it up with that enormous wood burner there. I've been in this room in the winter and it's so cosy. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. Big kitchen diner. Got that breakfast bar that runs along there on the wooden countertops. You've got white painted wooden floorboards everywhere. Big butler's sink. Green views on this side, and obviously pond views on the other. Country styling, country cottage styling here. You can see the light coming in through those windows there. And then utility room on this side, this corner. Another bright room. Dishwasher in here, more storage, and a guest loo. Always handy. Nobody needs to be schlepping up and down the stairs when you've got dinner parties. I love this little snug here. It just works perfectly as an office. Little home study. This cupboard here houses 2 boilers and a pressured hot water cylinder. I think one boiler services this house and the other boiler services the cottage. And then staircase to the mezzanine level, where you've got the window overlooking out to the side, and then finishing up here, or finishing the tour with one last look across that reception. That's amazing. So that's me done for today at Tonge Mill over here in Faversham in Kent. I've loved walking you around this building today. I do hope you've enjoyed this tour. Obviously, I understand this might not be for everybody, but hopefully you can see why I'm so enthusiastic about it. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please do drop me a comment below. If you think you could see yourself living here and you'd like to chat with me in person about it, please contact me via the website uniquepropertycompany.co.uk, or you can send me an email directly, simon.stone@uniquepropertycompany.co.uk, and I'll look after you. Please also don't forget to check out some of the other unique homes I've toured on my channel so far, and why not subscribe to see more unique spaces that I'm visiting as part of my day job. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.